Okay, last night Marjorie Taylor Greene gave a really stupid interview to 60 Minutes. I just wanted to point out a few parts of the interview that I took issue with and why I took issue with them.
Would you be willing to vote for compromise? In other words, raise some taxes?
I don't think we have a revenue problem in Washington. We have a spending problem.
You know something? That's glib. That's glib. What does that mean? The two sides have to come together and hammer it out.
Cut spending.
Both sides.
Both sides need to cut spending.
Where you want to cut it?
COVID bailout money and a lot of green energy spending.
But are you willing to let us go into default?
Okay, so Leslie Stahl, being the legendary journalist that she's supposed to be, didn't even think to bring up the fact that Marjorie herself was bailed out with PPP loans? Couldn't even bring that up right there? It was a silver platter moment. You just took that silver platter and threw it like a frisbee right out the goddamn window.
The Democrats are a party of pedophiles.
I would definitely say so. They support grooming children.
They are not pedophiles. Why would you say that?
Democrats support, even Joe Biden, the president himself, supports children being sexualized and having transgender surgeries. Sexualizing children is what pedophiles do to children.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, nothing. You gotta push back against that craziness, man. You had nothing to say. Nothing about how gender-affirming care isn't sexualizing children? How is lowering the suicide rate of teenagers sexualizing children? Why is it that everything that has anything to do with the LGBTQ community or the trans community has to do with sexualizing children or sex? That says a lot more about the Republicans and the GOP than it does about us on the left. We don't think about sex and all this shit that they're thinking about when it comes to drag shows. That's them thinking about sex. They're the ones with wet crotches and boners, not us. Then you want to talk about what Democrats support when it comes to sexualizing children? Show me legislation that the Democrats are trying to pass that actually sexualizes children. I can show you state legislatures across the country in only red states, done by red state houses, trying to get rid of a minimum age for marrying kids. Marrying minors. Is that the Democrats doing that shit? No. Are the Democrats trying to marry kids? No. And don't even get me started on all the Republicans that have actually been convicted of pedophilia just in the last 10, 20 years. Do I even need to make a video of a list? I'll even put fucking music to it for ya. Judge sentences serial child molester Hastert to 15 months. Yeah, months, not years, months. Because why? Because he's former Republican House Speaker Dennis Hastert, who less than a decade ago stood second in line to the presidency. Yeah, that's why he got 15 months for being a serial child molester. That means, like a serial killer that kills a bunch of people in a row, one after another after another. That's what a serial child molester does. And he only got 15 months. What? He got 1 month for every kid or what? How about you make a list of the lefties that have been convicted of pedophilia, and I'll do one from the right wing. How about that? Pedophilia battle. And I can guarantee you one thing. My list is going to be 100 fucking times bigger than yours. Just like anything that Republicans saying that Democrats are doing is a projection of themselves out. If they're saying it, it means they're doing it.
Can't you fight for what you believe in without all that name calling and without the personal attacks?
Well, I would ask the same question to the other side, because all they've done is call me names and insult me nonstop since I've been here, Leslie. They call me racist. They call me anti-Semitic, which is not true. I'm not calling anyone names. I'm calling out the truth, basically.
Pedophile?
Pedophile, call it what it is. But AOC couldn't do it. You want to know why? She's chicken, and she isn't brave enough to defend those ideas because they're not her own.
Well, I'm glad to see you.
No, you do this every time we have a debate where I ask a question that's obvious, and you're like, what you mean? You were kicked off of your committees for saying things were controversial. You've apologized for controversial statements, right? Those types of things. What is your process for fact-checking and vetting the things that you say in public?
The things I say in public are the truth, and that's why they're so offensive to Democrat activists in the media just like you. They failed us.
Like who?
Paul Ryan, Mitch McConnell, Lindsey Graham, those types of, Mitt Romney. I'm not even sure why he calls himself a Republican.
Why don't you blame Donald Trump?
Well, I blame all of them for a lot of things. But again,
not him.
Well, the president doesn't control everything.
Yeah, the president doesn't control everything until the president's Joe fucking Biden.
Fentanyl is now the #1 cause of death of young Americans ages 18 to 45. And this is unforgivable. The Biden administration is responsible for this, and they have blood on their hands. The president has sold out America by selling our strategic petroleum reserves and creating a national security crisis for all of America.
First day of President Biden's tenure, you filed impeachment articles over Joe Biden's son, Hunter. And there's 4 additional times where you have sponsored impeachment over different issues. Dereliction of duty related to withdrawal from Afghanistan, endangering the security of the nation due to the border, usurping legislative authority by extending the eviction moratorium, this is during COVID, undermining energy security by releasing oil from strategic reserves.
Well, the president doesn't control everything.